And welcome to episode 60 of the Family Based Pod. My name is Jake.
And my name is Ben. 60.
Ben 60. What's that from?
60. No, I'm saying 60. That's a lot of episodes.
Oh, yeah.
60.
No, I know. I mean, when I see like podcasts on like episode 500 or something.
300s, yeah, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah, it's like, wow. I mean, that's commitment for sure. But yeah, so episode 60. And before we get into anything, before we do introductions or socials or any of that, let's wish this is as close to Ben's birthday as we're going to get. So we're going to say happy birthday, Ben. His birthday's coming up this weekend. So
it's true, yeah.
I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing your age.
375. No. Yeah, I'll be 34. I was born in 1989. So I get to tell people that I was an 80s baby, you know, for all 11 months that I was there. Still shitting in my pants. But, you know, I still do that 34 years later, so not much of a difference. Thank you very much. It's very cool. I have a daughter that's due any day now, realistically.
Yeah.
So the fact that we might share a birthday or close to it is pretty neat. So that's cool. You have a birthday next month, so she will definitely be born sometime in between, you know, us. So already cool. But that's great. I mean, Maya, Dave's daughter, is February 9th. So she's like, that's the exact due date of my daughter. So we're kind of like all bunched in, you know, and it's pretty cool that we have, that we're bunched in like that. Yeah, but it's very cool. Thank you very much. 34, you know, a little bit older than you, and currently tied with Dallas for the next 4 months, and then he will eclipse me again, and I'll be playing catch up. But we're still younger than Dan, so fuck it. There we go. At the end of the day.
That's true. I mean, after Dallas's birthday, we're for how many months? 6 months. We're like 1 year apart each. So,
yes, yeah.
I like that. That's always a fun thing. And then my sister. Anyway, so we're all in a row. It was just kind of awkward to think about how that happened, but either way. All right, so
parents were getting after it. That's what we do. That's what they do.
The 80s and 90s were crazy.
They didn't have the internet. They didn't have the internet.
No, they didn't.
Where were they hanging out? They had 3 television channels and the newspaper, bro. What else were you gonna do?
I mean, you weren't watching or listening to podcasts.
They certainly weren't. They certainly weren't.
All right, so again, episode 60 of the Family Based Pod. And if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, comment, share, any of that stuff. You guys know what to do there. If you're listening, subscribe, rate us. It helps out people find the podcast from there, from ratings. Also, if you are just a fan of ours, or honestly, you're a family member at this point, who just wants to help us out with whatever, share our episode. And this episode, we're actually going to start like any other one. Ben, you're going to introduce our family member of the week. So who you got this week?
Yeah, so this week we had been following a bit of a pattern. As you know, I went with my sisters. You went with your father, Dallas. In between that, went with your Uncle Mike. Yeah. So I am deciding to not do that at all. And I am inducting my favorite rapper into the family. And that is T.I., my guy.
T.I.'s your favorite rapper. How is he your favorite?
Let me tell you something. It used to be Kanye West. And that is problematic. So I don't even listen to his music on Spotify anymore. Just saying that.
Good for you.
I skip it because I can't, whatever. Get behind it. And T.I.'s got a whole litany of issues as well.
Yeah, he's not.
I know, calling the kettle black. I get that. But T.I. was the coolest of, like, in my opinion, the coolest of the Southern rappers when I was first getting into rap music, which was like the early 2000s, right? He had the coolest sounding voice.
Yeah, it's
He
true.
has absolute bangers, absolute bangers.
True.
He's
True.
got great collaborations with a lot of different artists. He introduced me to other Southern rappers. Like
Yeah.
Ludacris was probably the first big
Yeah.
Southern, like
Yeah.
from Atlanta, that I remember.
Yeah.
But like T.I. and then Jeezy, and then you get Gucci Mane, and you get all those other guys who came after them that was like
Yeah.
in Atlanta all at the same time. And that was great for me. Outkast, obviously, from Atlanta as well.
Right.
But yeah, so T.I. did, he was huge. My closer song, I've always said this, would be Bring 'Em Out by
Yeah.
T.I., because that's an awesome, like the way that the song starts, and then when the beat drops in, and then like the chorus picks up, like it's awesome. So T.I.'s my guy, and I was driving to and from my in-laws to celebrate my
Yeah.
wife's uncle's birthday yesterday.
Okay.
And so we were driving back, and I was just bumping old T.I., and I was feeling it, and I was like, you know what? He's going in. So there it was. That's all it
Okay.
took. T.I.
All right. That's fair.
Tip.
Um,
TIP.
speaking of like, rappers that were famous in the 90s, 2000s. I mean, maybe they were even older. Yeah, they're older. There was a recent album just released, like I think like either today or this weekend. It's a collaboration album. It's Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, E40, and Too Short.
Oh wow. So
And
all of the West Coast rappers.
it's four of the mainstay California rappers, and the first song is called California, and so of
Pretty on
course
the
it kind
nose
of
on that one. Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna guess that album is gonna be huge in California. So
Yeah. I mean, people of a certain generation
yeah,
are gonna love it, and then people who listen to
millennials, I'll say
modern,
that.
yeah, people who listen to modern rap music were gonna find it like the
Annoying.
slowest. Yeah, it's. I mean, there's such a difference when you listen to like old school rap music,
Yeah.
when everyone's enunciating their words and and like rapping on beat and doing stuff like that. And now it's just chaos. It's just
Well,
mumble rap bullshit.
I mean, at this point, we're the old people talking about the good old days of rap music.
Isn't it? Back in my day.
Well, Ti is our first non-family, and
Tip.
also he's the first celebrity to make the honorary family member of the podcast. So
The rubber band man. He's wild as a Taliban. He's got a 9 in
that's
his right.
wild.
He's got a 45 in his other hand, Jake. That's pretty wild.
That is wild. I will give him that. That is wild. All right, so that is just not who I thought you'd say. So I'm gonna
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I mean, if that would have been like one of my last guesses if you give me a list. So yeah, that's good. All right. We're going to actually bring up baseball first and foremost. So right away, I'm going to just mention some stories that we just haven't even talked about. And or signings or news. And I'm just going to throw them out there. And if you want to add in your take on something, interrupt me or whatever you need. All right. And these won't be in order. These are just baseball stories that we have not even addressed. And we'll talk about some more after, but here's some. So, Miguel Rojas was traded from the Miami Marlins to the Dodgers. So, the Dodgers have a shortstop. He's a great defender, great teammate, also can produce on the offensive side. So, he goes back to LA. I don't know if people knew that he was on LA at some point, and now he's gone back. World Baseball Classic is still on schedule to happen, and whenever that happens, we will talk about that. Each episode, that would be the main thing we talk about because it is going to be. There are going to be so many stars.
Man. I cannot wait.
All right,
yeah.
All right. So you say you cannot wait. What team or player do you want to see the most at the World Baseball Classic?
So if I'm going to follow I follow the same rules when I go with any international sporting event. Okay.
Yeah.
I go with the United States first and foremost because I am an American. I'm
Sure.
proud to be an American, or at least I know I'm free.
Yeah, that's
And that whole
true. Like
song.
most world, but yeah, go ahead.
And then I go for Mexico and Korea. Mexico and South
Yep.
Korea.
Right.
Mexico for obviously my heritage and lineage. South Korea for my wife's. So I will go with Mexico's baseball team in the World Baseball Classic. I'll be rooting for them. I'll be rooting for Korea's baseball team in the World Baseball Classic. For obvious reasons, I'll be rooting for them. I think America's going to have an outstanding squad, but dude, you look at those like the Dominican squad or even the Puerto
Puerto
Rican
Rico.
team. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What's the point of even playing? Give
Can
it to
you
them now,
tell?
bro.
Can you tell where baseball's at when, even with the All Stars on America's team, it's like, yeah, but can you see these other teams? It tells you how international even the MLB is. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
it'd be fun. I'm most excited to see Shohei Ohtani and Seiya Suzuki play in their first round. Their group play is in the Tokyo Dome. And as soon as Shohei was announced, apparently within minutes, it was sold out.
Crazy.
So I'm looking forward to seeing them play in front of the home crowd. All right, so apparently, this will be a thing in every AAA stadium across the country. Every AAA affiliate team, they will use an electronic strike zone this upcoming year. I don't know if they haven't said any details. They haven't said if it's going to be on, only robot umpires, or if it's going to be a challenge system, or if it's going to be, how it's going to work. But it's going to be in every AAA stadium. So we talked about that before.
Yeah, yeah, and I think we said then, and I think it's how probably we both feel now. Is like it's only an inevitability. They try it out in the minor league system. They get the kinks
Yeah,
out. They find out what they need to fix, and then eventually it will be introduced in the major leagues. Sooner rather than later. But we'll
yeah,
see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We can get into it. It's a whole other thing, and I'm sure we've already beat it over the head enough when we talked about it before. But you know, it's an
yeah.
interesting topic. But
I feel like when we find out more details and when they used it a little bit, then we'll get some data back and we'll see what we think. But it's interesting. That's everywhere. All right. So also, Andrew McCutcheon is going to be returning to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sorry, couldn't say it. On a 1-year deal. I'm assuming that means he's retiring. Am I wrong?
I think, well, so I think it's a nice story to have him back in Pittsburgh, right? Former MVP. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame. I don't know if he's done enough to get in the Hall of Fame. But an
Mm-hmm.
MVP is it's a nice thing, and he's going to be, loved. I mean, he's a loved baseball guy, and I think he has a long future in the sport if he wants to be a coach or whatever he wants to do
Yeah.
in it. But I think he'll go with Pittsburgh, and then if he's having a good season and Pittsburgh can get something for him, they might, move him. Um, but I think it's one of those things that we'll have to wait and see. It is cool that he's back there, though. You kind of always like
Yeah.
Pujols going back to St. Louis. I think that kind of maybe tipped McCutcheon into going that. Like you want those nice fuzzy feelings. You want like I gave as much as I could to these Pittsburgh teams that the only time they were relevant,
Yeah.
is
The
when he was
only
there.
time.
It's him, Starling Marte. They had, so many like outfielders. I feel like they cycle out outfielders all
Yeah.
the time, and they have like one all-star outfielder for like 5 years, and then they'll trade
Yeah.
him, and then they'll have another guy for 5 years, and then you know what I mean?
Like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, he's the current guy. It was Brian Giles. It was Andrew McCutcheon. You know what I mean? Jason Bay. Like, there's so many guys that they've had that was just like shitty. But it is a cool story. Long story short, it's a cool story to have him back there in Pittsburgh. And if he gets to finish the season out there and he gets to retire there, that's pretty neat. If they end up moving him again to a contender at the trade deadline, which
Yeah.
is a possibility as well. That's cool
Yeah.
too. I think it just kind of depends on what he's feeling and if he's um, contributing and if he's healthy and all that. So I think it's up to him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a
True.
great story. Great story.
Yeah. I agree. However it turns out for him, I think it's going to be cool to see him at least have a mentor role with the young guys on the Pirates. I think it'll be cool. All right, real quick, I have 4 signings and an extension to. That's the only other news, I think. So Nelson Cruz announced a 1-year deal to the Padres. So DH role for Nelson
DH.
Cruz. Yeah,
DH
I mean
makes a lot
he's
of
not
sense.
playing anywhere else. Johnny Cueto is going to the Miami Marlins. I mean,
Bounce back season for him last year.
yeah, I
He was
don't
like the
know
White
why.
Sox best starter last year, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
I don't know why they. Anyway, I don't know why they didn't bring him back, or anyone didn't sign him for a year. The Marlins got him, so I don't know.
But again, I think it's another. He'll get traded halfway through the year if he's contributing. That's a Marlins figure, and if he's anywhere half as good as he was for the White Sox last year, we can get something for him.
True.
So
true. All right, and also Brandon Belt, first baseman for the Giants, signed with the Toronto Blue Jays, and also a White Sox last year. AJ Pollock signed with the Seattle Mariners. I believe it's a 1 or 2 year deal. Either way.
So the fish goes to the Mariners, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pollock to the Mariners. Get it?
Is that a fish?
Pollock is a type of fish. Yeah.
I had no idea, bro.
Look at that.
You could be lying to me, Glenn.
That's true. The truth.
All right, and last news is an extension, and that's we never brought this up. I have no idea why. Rafael Devers signed an 11-year deal. How much is it for? I feel like it was $330 million.
337, I want to say. It was something
close.
Wonky. Yeah. No, you were right on.
Ah, man. I mean, that's a lot of money for a team that's going to be below average for years.
Yeah, unless you don't care.
That's true.
He's had individual success. Was he part of any of their World Series teams? No, right?
He won 1.
Okay, so he's already got a ring. I'm telling you, this is Chris Bryant all over again. He's just like, I've had individual awards. Maybe he loves being in Boston. David Ortiz loved being in Boston when he probably could have left. Sometimes they just really like a guy, and you fall in love with a city and a town, and you're like, screw it, I'll stay here. And I wish the Cubs would have done something like that with Rizzo, like that. He would have been the perfect kind of guy where you just if you say screw it, I'm just gonna stick around. I've got my World Series, I've got my individual awards, I'm doing all this. Wilson Contreras, I mean, that was the same kind of deal. But Devers is a better player than Wilson Contreras, so Devers requires more money to get him, which is why the price tag is so much. But I think it was good for him and good for them if they have their centerpiece guy that they feel comfortable building around.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, it's 11 years, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all those big contracts. We'll see. All right, speaking of not big contracts, Carlos Correa was a one-time signed with the Giants, a one-time signed with the Mets, and now he has a 7-year deal for $200 million to go back to Minnesota. And it's apparently he already passed his physical, and also a little bit of controversy was that apparently the Mets used the same doctor for the physical that
Giants did.
Yeah, so his results wouldn't have changed. At least that's what Carlos Correa and Scott Boras, his agent, are saying. But the Twins have no concern. I think they have some club options to, exit out of the deal. But either way, 7 years for $200 million, that's a bag too. So what do you think about Carlos Correa finally getting to Minnesota?
I hope he didn't sell his home, if he even had a home in Minnesota.
Right.
So that would be silly. No, I think it's awkward. You know, imagine Jake for a second. You
Yeah.
are a senior in high school, and
Oh,
you ask
okay.
you ask a girl to the prom, and she
Okay.
says no. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's say you had dated this girl for a year, and then
Okay.
you ask her to the prom, and she goes no, because she wants to date two other boys, or she wants to go to prom with another boy, and then
Right.
that guy tells her no because her legs are fucked up, and
Right.
then she asks another guy, and he tells her no because her legs are fucked up, and then she goes back to you, and you don't mind her fucked up legs. How do you feel? Do you go back do you go back to her? Like it's awkward, right? And knowing that you're the third option.
No, hold on. Uh, in this scenario, you're saying I'm okay with her legs.
Yeah, you don't mind fucked up legs.
I guess I'm okay with it.
I guess that's true. I don't know. I would feel some kind of way about it. I wouldn't be like, oh, so you just came back because your other options didn't work out. Like that's
Yeah.
not a great feeling. And I can't imagine
No.
if I was a Twins fan, like, yeah, you have an extremely talented player, so maybe you look past that in that regard. But at the same time, it's like, it has to be a little bit embarrassing. Like you still got it. Like you still get it, right? You still get the end result, which is what you wanted.
You got the prom date, but you got turned down.
Yeah, but you also walked in shit to get there. You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
It just depends. I mean, look, if the Twins can win the division, if they can be competitive, apparently the Guardians were way better than any of us thought last year. Who knows what the hell the White Sox are going to do? So like Minnesota has a chance in the division. So be successful, play well with Correa, make it prove that 7 years for 200 is fine. It ends up being an okay deal. Works out for you, works out for him. Then no one's going to give a shit, and I'm going to look like an idiot, in 7 years' time. But until then, we'll see. We'll see. It is awkward though, like you said, that the Giants and the Mets use the same doctor. I find that interesting. Yeah, if that is what happened, right? That is kind of weird. That would be a thing, because you'd want other opinions, right? You would just want more eyes on it, just to see, just so you know.
Yeah,
you're investing
if it's true, that's an interesting question that I feel like Steve Cohen is going to get a lot. Because you really promised the Mets fans, like, the world. With Carlos Correa come to that team, you promised them pretty much, like, we're going to win a World Series in, like, 2 years, maybe, at the most.
They've got Verlander at his peak. I mean, if you're considering his peak, but like Verlander, Scherzer, you're right.
Yeah.
Correa, Alonso. I mean, this is as good as it was going to get.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know the reasoning if it's true. If it's not true, it's just more Correa and Boris trying to spin stuff to make them look good. I don't know. But apparently they're going to keep talking, and if Steve Cohen ever says something, well, bring it up on the show. But as of right now, it's confusing, but also, I guess, congrats to the Twins, because you got a good player for sure. Yeah, so as I always say, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right. I know what you're going to say about the next one, but I just have to get on the record. So it was official. It is finally official. Trevor Bauer is finally released fully by the Dodgers. So anyone in the pros could sign him to a major league minimum, and he'll still get the money from the Dodgers.
Yeah.
My main question, I'm sure, I feel like I know the answer, but I want to get it. Would you want your team to sign him?
No.
Why not?
He's an asshole. I mean, I thought he was an asshole before all of this stuff happened. His personality is grating. He is like a fucking frat guy who never grew up. Like, I forgive frats, like, we call them frat stars, whatever. You want to, like, let's just call them fraternity members, like frat guys, right?
Okay.
You could forgive them for being a frat guy in the moment because you're 20 and you're dumb and you're drunk. And we've all been there, we've all done, and, whatever. I get all that. You want to be a part of something, fine. But then, like, that kind of mentality, if you don't grow out of it, you don't grow, you're not learning. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, you're not advancing in some way. And I just feel like his mentality is so childish. Like when he threw the ball into the outfield when he was in Cleveland, like when he was getting pulled from the start and he just launches the ball into the center field. Okay, that started like all of this downward spiral publicity for him. Is people started like turning on him then, and then obviously the legal stuff happened, which was like the real issue. And then he got his ass kicked by that, and baseball did their time and investigated. And he lost 2 years of his career, basically, right? And it's just like he was never really remorseful, and it just, I don't know, man. The whole thing, I've always felt the same way. I was like, would I want to hang out with this guy? And that's literally what it comes down to for me. Is like, would I want to hang out with this guy? If I wouldn't, then I don't want him on my team. And that's just what it comes down to for me. And I wouldn't want to hang out with Trevor Bauer. I feel like he's an asshole. So,
I'll make it kind of short and sweet of what I think. I wouldn't want him on my team. You could not pay me to put him on the roster, let alone play him. Because, and anyone who likes Trevor Bauer, I understand he is very good. And actually, he is ahead of the curve when it comes to a lot of stuff. He was ahead of the curve on spin rate and his mechanics and all this stuff. I totally get that. And even being abrasive online and kind of like talking smack to people online, people like that. I'm not saying I do, people like that. So I get why you might. Yeah, but there were issues, the legal issues. He was never charged. He was never convicted. So I'm not insinuating anything with it. The one thing I would say is that any assumption I would make on this whole situation is just saying, like, how did you handle it when you were attacked? And in your eyes. And he handled it by fighting fire in his eyes, I guess you could say, with a nuke and countersuing and going online and, not talking anyway. So this is the one thing, is that if you sign him now, which if you've been following Trevor Bauer since all this happened, he's kind of emerged as like a YouTube personality, TikTok, him and King of Juco, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that is going to be brought into your clubhouse. So he's going to have like kind of his own social media following around him and creating videos. That's going to be a part of your thing. And do you want to bring that into your clubhouse, around the field, just around your other players? I wouldn't. If I was a manager, if I was an owner, if I was a player, I don't think you want to have him on your team. So I'll keep it as that. I wouldn't want him on my team, and you couldn't pay me to have him on the roster with everything that you said and I brought up as well.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward from both of us. I don't know. His stats aren't so good that it would warrant having him around. Like, Curt Schilling was a sack of shit by all accounts, but you know what Curt Schilling was? He's a Hall of Fame worthy pitcher. You know what I mean? Like, I'll take a Hall of Fame. If he was even then, I guess I wouldn't. No, because that's not true. I still wouldn't want an asshole on my team. But at least make it fucking worth it. At least make the conversation worth it. If you're gonna be a bum, like I don't want you around. I don't think he's all that good, but whatever.
Yeah, and you know what? If anyone does on him, that'll be huge news, and we'll be forced to cover it again. So we'll talk about it again if he ever becomes relevant.
Do you think he gets picked up? Do you think somebody takes a shot at him?
So I've been kind of debating it if someone does. I don't know of a fan base or a club like their clubhouse that would want him immediately. So the only path I see is like around their trade deadline, kind of in that mix of who do we need to add, and maybe I'll get some stuff on this, but I feel like if anyone could handle that, it'd be someone like the Yankees. I'm not that to me. I just don't know. Besides that, right now, off the top of my head. So besides that,
No, I
no.
mean, I don't think you're incorrect. I don't know why anyone would want him. Nah, whatever. I'm just gonna end up repeating the same things I just said. But
yeah. So we can talk about something we actually do like, and that's the Cubs.
Hey,
If you want for a second. All right. So
yeah.
we've brought up the Cubs. They made a lot of moves. They brought in notably Dansby Swanson, Jameson Taillon, or is it Taillon? I don't know. Either way, he's a pitcher. That's good. So the projected starting lineup right now, 5 of the 9 are new players to the club. They haven't added a lot of pitching, but they have added, not yet. They've added Dansby Swanson, Seiya Suzuki, Eric Hosmer, Trey Mancini, Cody Bellinger, Tucker Barnhart. In one offseason, they added that. I think they're.
Well, we had Seiya last year.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Did I say that? Yeah, so that was wrong. But, so the lineup, Barnhart, Hosmer, Mancini, Swanson, Bellinger. Those are veteran players. They added to that lineup, and they brought back Smiley. They brought back they actually let a lot of people go, like Wade Miley, Wilson Contreras, Rivas. I was never convinced. Hayward, they finally let go. Ortega. Yeah, no.
Big Hayward guy.
The biggest, I think. So I've been seeing this on TV and also hearing it and seeing some clips on TikTok and Instagram and stuff. Genuine analysts saying the Cubs might be a contender. Are they?
Well, I am a genuine analyst, and I've been saying it for 2 years. So, yeah. No,
you said they'd win 97.
Not yet. Yeah, dude, not realistically, not yet. I think. Okay. Hosmer was on 2 teams last year for a reason. Okay, the Padres didn't want him anymore. He wasn't very good. He was fine. Yeah. He wasn't great. If he's going to be platooning or playing like a part-time role with Mancini, lefty-righty matchup, however they're going to do it, with one DHing, and if, you know what I mean, like cycling through, fine. Yeah. I don't want him getting everyday regular at-bats. I don't think he's that good anymore. That's my number one. The lack of pitching is concerning if you're not sold on what they already were bringing in last year.
Yeah.
From last year. So we get another year of Stroman, hopefully healthy. We need Hendricks to bounce back. Fine. Yeah. If you don't think Hendricks is going to bounce back or you have apprehensions about him being maybe the pitcher he was before, I get that. Fine. But Hayden, I always mess his name up. Is it Wesneski? Wesniewski?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Wesneski.
Wesneski. They're obviously hoping a lot for him to come into this season pitching like he did at the end of last year, which he was really good. They have some arms coming up, so maybe pitching like you get Taillon, and you're like, okay, we have 4 solid starters and we have 4 serviceable major league starters, is what I'm saying. And then you have like multiple guys getting starts in that 5th spot, or maybe you have 5 or 6 guys making starts.
Yeah.
However it ends up happening, I think if the Cubs were really going to be contenders, they would really need a better answer at first base. They would really need more proven starting pitching than what we have.
Yeah.
And I would like another lockdown piece in the bullpen before I can consider them a true contender. I think it's still the Cardinals' division, as it always is year in and year out. The Brewers are always going to be who the Cubs' real competition is realistically for second or 3rd place in the standings. And then, the Pirates are the Pirates and the Reds are the Reds. So, they're going to be what they're going to be, which is always the Pirates and the Reds. So I think the Cubs, I don't think, and to make an NFL comparison, like the Detroit Lions, perpetually bad all the time, always.
Yeah.
They were the real sexy pick this year to be like, oh, they're a fringe playoff team. They're a, up and coming organization or whatever. And then it looked good, and they had a hot start. They won some games, and then Detroit Lioned, so they bottomed out, and then they finished strong, and they they went into the last game of the regular season with a chance to make the playoffs. And I think that could be what people are doing in a baseball sense to the Cubs. It's like they could be good, so there's a possibility.
Yeah.
But I like to believe what I think is going to happen is Cubs might surprise some teams to get hot out the gate. They're going to flounder. You're going to see like some of the holes start to appear in our organization, in our team, and then they might make a rush at a postseason push. Realistically, they're going to be contending for the 2nd or 3rd spot, maybe a wild card spot. Obviously not for the division. I don't think they're getting a division. I think a wild card would be their only true way, but then I think there's too many other teams that are better than them. So realistically, a wild card isn't possible either. So long story short, I don't think the Cubs are making the playoffs, but maybe. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
It'd make the season a lot more exciting.
I very easily, again, I'll say this, is that the Cubs could be contenders this year. They could be. We don't know if they'll play above expectation or if you get an MVP, Cody Bellinger, or if Hosmer. Last year was his, real down year. Offensively, he's not been the same for a while, but last year was bad. So if he's serviceable, if Tucker, there are a lot of ifs, and if a couple stand out, and if the Cubs could be a contender, but realistically, no. I'm going to get on this for 1 second. So if anyone's watching still and they're not a Cubs fan, I may just go over your head on this, but even if you are a Cubs fan, I'm going to get into the weeds for a second. All right, so before the Cubs signed Drew Smiley back for, I think it's 2 years, I genuinely didn't want them to. And I'll tell you why. It's because they have so many potential number 5 starters that it's a little insane now. Like they may never get a chance in their rotation, and if they do, it's spot starts. So, like, these are names you may recognize. Keegan Thompson last year, great pitcher for the Cubs last year. I'm not saying he's going to be the same thing, but he didn't get a full season as a starter. Adrian Sampson, he came in the second half, did pretty well against some pretty good opponents, and he's not in the rotation this year. As you said, Wesneski, not in the rotation this year, if we're going with the starting 5 that they have. Javier Assad, he actually came in and was the most consistent starting pitch for the Cubs last year. And then you go down to like the minors, and they make come up like Caleb Killian. But those other pitchers had quality time in the majors last year, and I genuinely wanted them to have a shot. At least one opening for them. But right now, it's
It's
Stroman,
basically
Hendricks.
5 guys for one spot, maybe.
No, they don't even have a shot at one spot because you have Stroman, Hendricks, Smiley, Talion, and Justin Steele, which they are big on Justin Steele. So, and
Justin Steele's good, though.
It's 2 lefties in your rotation, but those other guys are in the number 6 spot. Like, are they all going to be in the bullpen? Are they going to have a chance? I don't know. Personally, I'm just like, these are young guys. I want to see them have like a shot at coming up and starting. But then also, like, what if Hendricks just bottoms out like he did last year? Or
yeah, I mean, because that's the thing, right? Stroman could get hurt. He hasn't shown that he could make like 35 starts in a season. You know, he's always kind of banged up. He's always got some kind of issues. So maybe they're just like, hey, realistically, in modern baseball, we don't have guys who make those. We don't have like workhorse starting pitchers like we used to. So you need more arms, just MLB ready guys.
Yeah,
and maybe they're just building based on that. I think it would be silly. I agree with you. I like the idea of having giving them a shot. You know, and maybe in spring training we'll see that. Some of these guys emerge, and you know we are going to need some longer arms out of the bullpen on the days that we get blown out or something's happening where long rain delay. You need those kind of longer starters or longer relievers.
But usually you don't keep like 4 or 5.
No, and that's the problem is that unfortunately some guys are gonna lose their major league shot. You know, and it's unfortunate, but it happens everywhere. If we're fans of them, if we're rooting for them, then we hope that somebody, gives them a shot and takes an opportunity, or they're willing to go down to the minors and kind of hang out until they get their shot. They get a chance. And just with injuries and stuff, I think it's a real possibility that they're all going to make some kind of starts this year.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Their bullpen is shaky, so I think they could be contenders.
So we're both saying it's a possibility.
Yeah. There's a shot, but it's not big. But
so you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, I mean, because even with the wild card spots, I'm not going to say who's going to be in those wild card spots, but you have to think the NL East. 2 of those teams are going to be wildcard teams, and then probably the Dodgers or Padres.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the Cubs may have to win like 90 plus to even get in the wild card. So it'll be wild.
Like 97 wins, you might say.
Yeah, like that. It could be. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit. Talk about the NFL playoffs here. This weekend has been kind of crazy. I mean, as someone who doesn't watch the NFL a lot, I was genuinely entertained by football.
Yeah.
What was your favorite game so far this weekend? This past weekend?
Yeah, it was probably the Jaguars and Chargers game. I felt like so you and I have a connection to Urban Meyer in that Florida Gators fan, you liker of Ohio State at some point. So he coached at both of our respective schools that we kind of cheer for every once in a while. Definitely me more with Florida. But to see them make such a 180 from last year with how poorly the Jaguars were ran last year with Urban Meyer. It's really awesome to see. Like Trevor Lawrence looked like absolute dog shit in the first half of that game. Dude, he was throwing interceptions to everyone. He threw more interceptions than I think he had completions. He had 4 picks.
He had 3 interceptions to Asante Samuel Jr.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like First of all, how crazy is it that we were watching his dad, like his whole dad's whole career, now he's playing. But
Right.
yeah. Uh, and then for him to just like turn it around in the second half and come out, and then the Chargers to lose like that is the most Chargers way to lose. You know,
Yeah.
they always find a way to fuck up. It's like they've done that forever since they had LT and Phillip Rivers, dude. Those were good teams.
Yeah.
Antonio Gates, they had three Hall of Famers on the same offense at one time, and they won dick. They won nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they would have a good regular season, and then it would come to the time of the playoffs, and then the Chargers would suck. And that's what they did. And it was just a really entertaining game. I saw a TikTok this morning of this guy who went to bed at halftime, and obviously the Chargers were winning.
Yeah.
And he gets woken up, and he's just staring at the TV. Like if I was waking up in utter disbelief like that, I would be. First of all, I would never be able to. I would never be able to fall asleep while watching a game. That's one. Maybe he had some adult beverages. Maybe he had some adult beverages. Maybe he was, whatever. But me, the sports fan that I am, the insane Bears fan that I am, I'm like watching, pacing the house. I'm there.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
I wouldn't be able to just take a nap mid game anyways. But if I did and I woke up, I would just stop watching sports. I would have to, or I would stop sleeping because obviously terrible stuff happens when I sleep. That's the kind of superstition I am. It's like, oh no, only bad stuff happens when I sleep, obviously. So
I'm not superstitious. I'm a little stitious.
You just feel a little stitious,
yeah. Yeah, the Jaguar. I completely forgot Urban Meyer was the coach last year.
Mm-hmm.
Until you said that, I was like, "Where's it going with this point?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
that's right." Yeah, that asshole.
Man, that was bad,
dude. And then the fact that Fox gave him a job so quickly back that he was already doing like college this season. It's like after all the shit that he did, kicking a player, like all of that kind of stuff that got him eventually booted out and marked as like one of the worst college to pro coaches ever that we've ever had in the NFL, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
The fact that he, and the fact that the Jaguars were able to turn it around, man. Doug Peterson, who was their coach, he was the Eagles coach the year that they double doinked the fucking Bears and won the Super Bowl and all that. So he's proven that he's a great coach, and I hope that they continue to get more chances. I do think that they're going to get their ass kicked by the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, yeah,
and the boys, my guys. But we'll see. But Jack, that was the most exciting game for me. Right now, currently, the Buccaneers are getting absolutely hammered, 24-0 in the third quarter, and Tom Brady can't complete a pass to anybody. So they're going to lose more than likely, and that means Cowboys fans are going to be insufferable for another week. So
I mean, probably just one more, but
yeah. Who's the worst fan base, Jake? Cowboys fans, Duke fans. Let's alienate some people. Cowboys, Duke, the Lakers,
Yankees.
Is that the other? Yeah, it's probably the other big one.
I mean, it really depends on if you are in LA, Lakers fans. Though, I mean, just yeah. But if you're anywhere else in the country,
I guess it depends on your sport of choice.
Yeah, I'd say that. I don't know. I mean, personally, I go with the Yankees.
You think the Yankees are your least favorite team in baseball?
No.
Who's your personal least favorite team? Do you have one?
Oh,
White Sox, maybe?
I don't dislike teams. I dislike fan bases.
Sure.
Personal to me, it's a tie. Cardinals fans and White Sox fans are the most unrelenting, obnoxious fans, and they'll say the same thing about Cubs. Some will, but man, I lived in Missouri for 7 years, and I mean, it was bad. Yeah, they were bad, but I mean, being from Chicago and having White Sox, it just depends on where you're at. But I'd say the White Sox fans and Cardinals fans are the worst to me. But overall, I'd say Yankees. But
Yankees have the problem of being the most popular. And by the most popular,
yeah,
I mean the most like widely known, the most recognized. I think all the
right.
teams that we just named, if you look at like the most expensive and the most popular sports franchises, they're the literally tops
Yeah,
in each
yeah,
sport. And I think that's common. You know, we hate success. And those teams like the Cowboys aren't successful. They haven't won a Super Bowl in 20 years. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But fuck, the Bears have won a Super Bowl, and we're hanging our hat on one 1985 season. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Well, the Yankees logo, you can recognize it all over the world.
hmm
And it's just American Yankees fans. I would say specifically who are not from New York. It's like, what are you doing? Like, calm
sure,
down.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But back to football a little bit. Who else played this weekend? I forget. If you remind me, I'll
Ravens, yeah, the
yeah,
Ravens and Bengals were last night.
yeah.
That game came
Didn't
down
watch.
to, yeah, that was a battle of the Ravens' third string quarterback. No, Tyler Huntley played, so he was their backup quarterback. But still, you know, the Ravens would have wanted Lamar Jackson, their starter,
If
to
he
play
was
in that
healthy,
game. Yeah, he wasn't. He unfortunately was not healthy. And he's going into a big contract year in which he is representing himself by all accounts,
yeah,
which is always
yeah,
a risky but interesting move if you can pull it off and figure out how to work. I would always feel, me personally, like I would feel like I'm being taken advantage of.
right.
You know what I mean? Like they're sneaky fucks. Like they're why would they want to give me more money? You know what I mean? They would. So, anyways, but so that game was last night. The Bengals ended up winning. Um, the
Bills and Dolphins.
Yes, Dolphins were on their third string quarterback. And that
Yeah,
game was far closer than it had any business being. So I think the Bills were everyone's preseason favorite in the AFC. At least they were 1A or 1B with
yeah,
the Chiefs and Bengals. Um, and so they're still alive. Chiefs are still alive. Bengals are still alive. I think if you're a fan of the NFL, if you're the NFL, those are the teams you kind of want that's still riding
yeah.
in the playoffs.
True.
This Cowboys outcome is perfect for the NFL.
Yeah, true.
And ESPN is getting a ton of money today because it is Tom Brady versus the Dallas Cowboys, and
Yeah,
this is viewership porn for the NFL right now. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, I think next week when the number one teams come back, like the Chiefs and the
yeah.
Eagles both play, um, it'll be a fun week of games. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm excited to see how it ends up shaking out, if we're going to get any upsets, or because we had a lot of close games, but I don't think there were any upsets really. I think everybody won that was supposed to win.
Jaguars.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Jaguars.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it there is a storyline in there somewhere with Tua having two concussions, Lamar being injured and not playing, and people being upset about that. There is some storyline in there somewhere. I don't feel equipped to do anything with it. Um but yeah, I mean overall those are the teams you want to see. If you're a football fan, you're probably happy.
Yeah.
Um
I just want good
but
games. I mean,
yeah,
once my team's out, whether it be
yeah,
whatever sport we're talking about, I just want an entertaining game. So
yeah.
just give me good football. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I agree. Next, we'll have some MLB Hall of Fame stuff to talk about soon. We'll have the World Baseball Classic coming up in March, but the Super Bowl is maybe your baby will be a Super Bowl baby,
Yeah, that's also true. If you could, I
and
was.
then you'll
I guess
miss it.
no. No, it will not. It'll be on in the room. It'll be on in the Linktree room. That's realistic. I was born January 22nd, 1989. Was the Super Bowl that year because they didn't have so many playoff games and such. So the Super Bowl was played a couple weeks earlier.
Yeah.
So I was a Super Bowl baby. My dad was watching the game in the delivery room as I was being delivered. So there you go. It's tradition. It's fate almost.
Well, do you know what what was on TV when my daughter was born?
What?
The Steve Wilkos show.
Classic.
So if that sets you up for life, I don't know what will.
Jerry. Like Jerry's bodyguard.
It's Steve.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
the 49ers and Seahawks played on Saturday.
Right.
And the 49ers were really good. They kicked the shit out of the Seahawks. 49ers are going to be tough. They're going to be a tough out.
It was close. And I don't believe my friend Nicky is watching this, but he's a big Niners fan. When I was in California, we watched Niners games together, and we still talk about it like every Sunday. Brock Purdy. All right, right now, if you had to pick Brock Purdy or Trevor Lawrence, their future.
Trevor Lawrence all day. I'm going off the proven thing. He's got the pedigree. He's got the years at Clemson. He's never lost a game on a Saturday in his life. But
who would you rather have, the number one pick or the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant? I would go Brock Purdy right now.
That's crazy. I would take the 49ers team, but I would take Trevor Lawrence. But that's just me.
Trevor Lawrence. He's in the FC. NFC is traditionally, Trevor Lawrence got the hair. But Brock Purdy's got the Iowa State Rocket.
Cyclones. Yeah. Was he teammates with David Montgomery? Were they there together?
Oh no. He just was drafted. I think
Montgomery's been in the league for a couple of years now, so maybe not.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe, but they probably didn't know each other that well. Give me Brock Purdy, bro.
You could ride the hype, man. Good for them.
With that system, Jimmy Garoppolo is good quarterback in that system. Brock Purdy's going to be a Hall of Famer if you keep him with Shanahan.
I think you could play quarterback with Shanahan.
No, but thank you.
I have faith in your arm. I think it'd be interesting to see what the Bears are going to do. I know we talked a little bit about the draft last week. We haven't. The only thing, like Ryan Pace, the president of the team, came out and said that they would have to be or the GM of the team. I'm sorry. He was like, we would have to be absolutely blown away by a trade to move off of Fields at quarterback. So he didn't say
no.
Yeah, but he would have to be absolutely blown away, and I wonder what that would entail. Like, what would that mean? Because obviously that would be picks. That would be picks. I don't know if it'd be picks and players or just picks or what, but I'm not changing my position from last week, which is just trade the pick back, get more picks, and try to get a better team through more players. But we'll see.
Yeah, it's hard. I think fans have become so attached to Fields that it would almost be impossible for like a Bryce Young to be drafted and embraced.
He would have to do a lot.
Bears fans love Justin Fields, so
he does really cool shit, dude. He does really cool shit. Like, this has to feel what it was like to be a Falcons fan. Like watching Vic run around in his prime. Like, Vic had a howitzer. Like, he could throw the ball a country mile. Right?
Yeah.
But when he would run the ball, and it was absolutely electric. Like, you remember those old Madden days? Like, it was almost unfair to pick him.
It wasn't fair.
Because you could just boom, and then just bootleg around, and then you had nothing. That's got to be how it feels to be with Justin Fields now. Except I just wish the Bears would. Whatever. We don't have to turn this into a whole thing. But long story short, I think they're gonna have to trade out of that pick. Trade out of that pick.
Yeah, we'll just see what they do.
Yeah, I don't think they can move off from Fields, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, well, CJ Stroud just said he's coming out of Jose too, so maybe someone else wants to get number one pick to secure a quarterback. I don't know, but just don't give up Fields.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
All right. I think we'll just end it there. Next week, Ben will be 34.
I will.
We'll be that much closer to Lil Baby Rodriguez coming in.
Yeah, I have to imagine next week is probably my last week for a little bit, if everything goes to plan, or depending on when they might induce. But I'll keep you, Jake, obviously in the loop, and we can plan it, from here. But we'll see. But yeah, I'll definitely be back next week, so that's for sure.
I mean, you never know.
That's also true.
Yeah, could be.
I will try to be back next week.
Well, we'll see. That's kind of the whole motto of the show is we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. It takes time. Everything takes time.
Yeah, it's true. All right, so guys, this has been episode 60 of the Family Biz Pod. My name's Jake.
And my name is Orange Starburst, which is the best Starburst. It goes orange, yellow, red, pink. How about that?
I have no idea. I don't.
You don't eat Starburst?
Not really.
Are you a chocolate candy fan? Dude, whatever. Just tell me, are you a chocolate candy fan? Or a fruit candy
fan? I like chocolate?
Do you prefer chocolate or fruity candy more?
I guess chocolate.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. You seem like a chocolate guy.
That means nothing?
Yeah, you're a chocolate
okay,
guy. Now, everybody knows. If you guys know in the comments, put below, is Jake a chocolate guy? Put it down. If you made it all hour and 15 minutes that we've been doing this, put down below if Jake's a chocolate guy.
That's the question for the episode. Is Jake a chocolate guy?
That makes sense. Right.
Yeah.
That vibe.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do whatever you want to, need to. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Ugh.
Hey, I'm Eden. Thanks for watching this episode of my dad's podcast. Check out the links in the description to follow the podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and the other social media. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the bell to let you know when there's a new episode. Thanks for watching or listening. Bye.